The next chapter in the Rebels Manifesto by Sean Mcdowells is on worldviews. Books and books and books and books have been written on worldviews. And if you scratch below just about any book or any person or anything or culture or government, there's a worldview behind everything. It's not to say that everybody's got a real defined worldview. Most of the time we're just kind of picking and choosing from the things that we've heard or seen in our lives, or the things that have worked, or something we've just kind of made up our own self. We're pretty good at doing that sort of thing because we're all individuals, and sometimes our worldview is what scratches our itch. But I think what Sean is trying to do with this chapter is remind all of us as Christians that we should be cultivating and making our worldview in line with what Scripture says, what God finds important. I don't have a definition in my head of worldview, but it's kind of this lens that you see life from, the things that are important, purpose, identity, where you're going when you die. That's all part of worldview. And Sean just barely scratches the surface of it in this chapter, thinking through it. So my encouragement to you all, this ain't going to be a long video, but you've got to think through the things of life, the pieces of life that are most important, especially what should be a part of your worldview is what God thinks of you, what His definitions are, what He thinks is important. You know, He created you. What does that mean in regard to your identity? He'll take you out of this life. You will die one day. Where are you going? What has He provided for you? While you're here, kind of the dash between your birth and your death. What are you living for? What's your purpose? What's the meaning of your life? What does God think about these things? He's got a lot to say, and Scripture is full of those pointers, but also just things that are just clear cut right there in front of you on what you should know about these things. So many scriptures come to mind, and I think I may have used this verse before, but I think it's in Matthew 22. Jesus is asked, what's the greatest commandment? And He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and strength. And the other one is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. I think things flow in and out of that. And as a believer, something that kind of even nails that in more so is Galatians 2:20. I've been crucified with Christ. I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. This life I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave Himself for me. Think through worldview issues. It's not good just to pick and choose. God's got some defining marks, some road signs, so to speak, in regard to a lot of these issues. And you need to see what He has to say. Just don't do anything just by default. Just kind of falling into, just living your life for yourself and what works. It's just not how life is supposed to be lived. All right, there you go. Love you now. Take care. Bye.